Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, your YouTuber, signing off and imitating never duplicated superstar Tim Vicious. And gonna go over Raw this week. Was in Uniondale, New York. Now, before we get into the show, go over last week's current events. Crown Jewel took place on Halloween, which, not gonna lie, man, a lot better than what I thought it was gonna be. It was a lot better than what I thought it was gonna be. Now, hands down, the two matches that stood out more than anything for me was, well, actually, I'd have to say three. One, the Brock Lesnar-Cain Vasquez one, because how relatively short it was, but in a way, it made sense because, listen, Cain Vasquez, he's not necessarily experienced in the ring. Could Brock work with him? Yes. But if that was an actual shoot fight, this is a worked environment. You're not going to be able to do that. You know? Cain's still learning, and Cain... You watch Cain's work, you see, he's one of those kind of fighters that has to keep everything that got taught, keep everything in, be emotionless. And in wrestling, well, this very much so the opposite. So, yeah. It was a very, very short match. Brock won, did the Kimura. After that, Ray proceeded to give him a beatdown with a chair. And I'll get into more on that in a minute. Now, other match that stood out hands down was there was a women's match. Yes, there was a women's match in Saudi Arabia, despite what everyone would like to go and think, like, oh, well, they don't give a shit, this, that, and the other. Hit the brakes. I've said this, I have said this at every Saudi show that they have done. It is simple. It is evolution. You have to take, sometimes with evolution, you have to take one step backwards to go two steps forward. You look at the last show. They had Renee Young working commentary. Everyone was swearing, oh, well, they won't bring any of the female talent. They'll just have them go and do, like, PR stuff at hospitals and such. You know, they won't do nothing with anything there for the show. Just... You listen to the idiocracy of some people, you tend to really question why some folks are really allowed access to the internet. Also, now, the last match, hands down, Seth versus The Fiend, it was pretty intense. It was pretty intense. Really cool ending on the ending. Bray wound up winning, so Bray Wyatt is now your Universal Champion. And if you forgot, via the WWE draft, Bray Wyatt is now on SmackDown. So the Universal Championship's there, which now, speaking of SmackDown, we're going to transition, get into the SmackDown Rewind. And last week's SmackDown was very interesting because a majority of the people of the roster was still stuck overseas because of flight issues. Now, if you listen to the fuckknuckles like the Dave Meltzers and the Brad Shepherds in the world, one, you really need to reevaluate your life and where you're at if you're going to swear by them. And two, those little fuckheads wound up wanting to swear, oh, well, Vince cut the Saudis short on money, and Vince cut the Saudis short on a deal. Saudis were holding the wrestlers hostage, this, that, and the other. Everyone's spinning 100 different stories to the point to where the airline company itself wound up issuing a statement saying, listen, we were having flight delay issues, and after having to wait for so long, the pilots were legally not allowed to go and take off. They had to go and rest. No different than with truckers. You know, the 18-wheeler guys in the U.S. Federal BOT regulations, they are not allowed to go and drive for 24-hour consecutive hours. Same deal with pilots, man. They can't do that shit. If, after so long, no matter what, even if they feel like they can go, rules and regs, man, you're not allowed to. So, couldn't. They were held up on that. Now, was people upset because they were stuck over there? Of course, my God, yeah. Wrestling Twitter aside, you just look at professional business. How often do you see people in professional businesses constantly complain about Delta or United or whatever? Hold people up all the time on fucking flights. Or delay, hold them up on flights, delays, this, that, and the other, all that shit. It fucking happens. It's part of the business of travel. Now that I addressed that part, now on to SmackDown. It's SmackDown, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Paul issued a statement saying that seeing as on how Brock Lesnar is now openly quitting SmackDown because of on how Rey Mysterio brutalized and victimized him at Crown Jewel. So he is leaving. And now the rest of the night, it was pretty much a hostile takeover because Hunter stepped in and brought all of NXT up and pretty much took over the damn show. Had Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan, which was a fucking beautiful match. Tommaso Ciampa going against Miz. Tommaso killed him. And Rhea Ripley and Tegan Knox, they came out. And yeah, it was just a beautiful night in general. Now Raw, it's now that we went over the highlights of SmackDown, let's get into the show. It starts out Monday Night Raw. Brock Lesnar and my savior Paul Heyman coming out and addressing on how they quit SmackDown, and due to that, they wound up. Brock Lesnar has a ironclad deal with World Wrestling Entertainment. He cannot, so he's gonna be on Raw. And earlier they did a trade where Bliss and Cross went to SmackDown for 2 trades. Brock Lesnar, I believe, now counts as one of them. So now, yeah, storyline-wise, that makes perfect sense on how you change the title over to the different show. There you go. Now, after that, Brock Lesnar, he goes on a rampage, starts looking all around for Rey Mysterio to the point to where he starts getting in, starts freaking out, flipping shit, smashing things in the back. Later on, he corners Jerry Lawler, starts to get in his face, and before he could put a hand on him, Dio Madden winds up stepping in between, takes an F5 on the table for Lawler, and then, yeah. Next thing you know, Rey comes out, winds up basically doing a Tanya Harding on Brock Lesnar, clipping his knee with a pipe, and then beating the shit out of him. Afterwards, Rey challenges Brock for a title shot, Survivor Series, it's official. So, I can honest to God see Rey Mysterio winning. And if you're going to say, oh no, he can't, he's too little, he's a small guy, Brock Lesnar's a big, huge monster, let's not forget, Rey Mysterio was also billed as the biggest little man in the business at one point. He wound up going up against Great Khali. He went against Big Show. Hell, he wound up doing feuds in fucking WCW against Kevin Nash. So, why not? Why not? Plus, not only that, you got the scrappy underdog story of the little guy who has all the odds against him winning. Isn't that what all the little Smarky McSmarkertons want? So yeah, now let's get into the first match of the night. My future third ex-wife, Asuka, and Kairi Sane going against Charlotte Flair and Natayla. And, man, I am scratching my head, man, because Charlotte and Natty, you know, as good as they are against each other, they actually work pretty well as a tag team, you know? I mean, yeah, you tend to see that a lot. I mean, case in point, the old ECW tag team, Public Enemy. They were notorious. They went against each other all the time back in Japan, but, you know, and they came together and, yeah, things like that happen all the time. Hell, when I was doing my yard and shit, that's on how I wound up getting my tag partner. But, yeah, just, it's real interesting because, you know, as much as they push Natalya, it's just, she just doesn't connect. I mean, yeah, she can work the ring. Yeah, she's got a lineage. It's just she's missing that it factor. The make me want to go and say, yeah, I'll put my money behind that one. Just no charisma, I guess you could say. So, yeah. It was a good match, good solid match, nice start. Natty wound up working as the punching bag. Charlotte got the hot tag in. And now, not gonna lie, there was a fair share of like slip-ups. Don't want to say it was like a very botchy match because far from it. I don't like to call botches on shit. But there was a good bit of, there was some slip-ups and miscommunications in it. Just, and, kind of left a sour taste, but decent match nonetheless. Match came to an end when Natalya put the sharpshooter in on Asuka, and Asuka tapped out. Yeah, from a personal fan standpoint of Asuka, can't necessarily say I dig that, but yeah. I'm not going to go and split hairs and go into a personal fanboy rage. You know, try and keep it as unbiased as possible. That said, next matchup, Buddy Murphy, Cedric Alexander. Holy shit, this was fucking good. Going back to the old 205 Live days. Side note real quick, speaking of 205 Live, they did announce 205 Live is going to be going back to Full Sail this Wednesday, which is a really good news because, you know, the Full Sail crowd, they really do love and appreciate the cruiserweights. So it's really good to see them getting to have a homecoming, if you will. Now, Cedric, Buddy Murphy, really good, solid match, good back and forth. I wouldn't say this was like a, oh my god, WrestleMania level match. But this was a solid, beautiful mid-card match. Like, a match that would make you, like, the match that you would hear the boss say, no, you're going to go out there, you're going to put on a hell of a match, and you're going to make sure that they keep their asses glued to that seat. Like, one of those kind. And wow, is it good. So, match came to an end with Murphy. He wound up hitting the Murphy's Law. Got the 1, 2, 3. That was it. So next matchup we got mixed tag action. Andrade and Zelina Vega. Whew. Going against Sin Cara and Catalina. And, you know, now, the guys for the most part were working the action in the ring. The girls did get some time in there, which I'm not going to lie, it was really cool, you know. Haven't really seen much of Catalina's stuff outside of WWE. I was kind of looking to this as like, okay, let me see what you got. The girl can work, you know. The girl can work, she can go, you know. Hopefully she can get, you know, you could see in her though, she's still a little green as far as working the WWE style. So, yeah. Give a little bit of a learning curve on that, but all in all, it was an okay match, you know. Match came to an end when Vega wound up doing a basement Rana to to Catalina, got the 1, 2, 3 after that. So next up, now we got impromptu match. It's Rusev versus Drew McIntyre, and on how this came to be, Rusev came out, cut a promo on how he wanted Lashley and on how he was going to say, you know what, Bob, I'm going to tell you right now, you want to have her? Go ahead. I'm done. Which, okay, Rusev, as glad as I am to see that you are happy, I just want you to really understand. You kind of set the bar really high for as far as for what you're going to rebound off of, because Lana, again, smoking hot Russian gymnast. You know, you're not really going to get any higher on that bar, really. So, yeah. Anyways, as he's doing that, as he's going off on that, Lashley comes out, cuts a promo saying, listen, I'd love to come down there and beat the crap out of you, but I can't because I'm injured. I pulled a groin muscle. Basically, he's got a sprained penis because he wound up banging the shit out of Lana, which, you know, in all fairness, if I was in his shoes, yeah, same thing. I'd be popping them blue chews like they were fucking M&Ms, making sure we going at it like Catholic bunnies. Whew. Anyways, he wound up so Lashley wound up saying, I can't compete, but I got somebody who can. And then he brings out McIntyre, and this is the kind of match I fucking love to see. You know, a lot of people like to see technical wrestling, some like hardcore, some like ultra violent, some like lucha high flying, some like the stiff Japanese style. Me, I like seeing the two big brutes, two big athletic brutes just going and pounding at each other, and this is exactly what it was. Very physical, very athletic. It's not to say I just like seeing like the two big guys trying to bump at each other. No. If they're both extremely athletic, and in this case they both were, oh my God, this is the kind of match I salivate for. This was great to see. If you're a fan of those kind of matches like me, I would recommend seeing it. You know, really good, really physical, you know, solid action all around. Nice back and forth between them both as well. You know, match wound up coming to an end when they were on the outside. Rusev, he was starting to go into a Rusev rage and basically slamming McIntyre into the stairs and all. Just as he was, next thing you know, Lashley, wham, slams him with the crutches. Then the ref throws the match out. Next thing you know, they get Rusev back in the ring. They proceed to beat the crap out of him, and then Ricochet comes out to provide the assist. As Ricochet's doing the assist, Randy comes out, RKO's Rick, winds up taking him out, and then next thing you know, they proceed to go at it some more. And basically, it was Team Hogan and Team Flair squaring all off at each other all at once. Just to, you know, so yeah. So now we come to the next match, trios match. The Good Brothers themselves, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Uncle Alan, AJ Styles, going against the Street Profits and Humberto Carrilo. And now this was a decent match. I dug it, you know. And I will say this, Montez Ford, I fucking love, because the guy is a beautiful mouthpiece. God forbid he ever winds up getting hurt and can't compete anymore. Oh my God, is he ever set to be a mouthpiece on the ring as a manager? You know? He could be a hell of a mouthpiece, you know? He could be a good one at that, hands down. And now, other thing with him, his fucking facial expressions. His facial expressions and his body language. The way he just knows on how to, like, move his body, like to have that cocky swag. It impresses me, because the guy is, don't want to say green, but he's still relatively young in the business, so to say. And it just, on how quick he took to it, like that, you know? But Ford was basically the punching bag. Angelo Dawkins, when he was in, man, he was doing good. He was cleaning house. Really dig the shit out of Angelo Dawkins' work too, man. Hands down, he's really good for a guy his size and build. Excuse me. Now, Humberto wound up getting a hot tag and cleaning up house. Started going at it on Styles while the Profits were going against Gallows and Anderson on the outside. Match wound up coming to an end when Humberto went to go for a Frankensteiner. Styles reversed it and just wham! Slammed him down on authority or the powerbomb. And then had his feet up on the ropes like that. 1, 2, 3. So yeah. Now we come to the Raiders versus a jobbers known as the Polo Club. Not necessarily the Mean Street Posse reboot I was hoping for, but yeah, it was a squash match. Afterwards, though, they cut a promo saying on how they're ready to go and take on the Undisputed Era and the Revival come Survivor Series. Seeing on how Survivor Series this year is now Raw, SmackDown, NXT going at each other. So, yes. So now that comes to the main event of the night. Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole, baby, for the NXT Championship. And this match came to be because, excuse me, earlier in the night Seth cut a promo talking about on how, yeah, he lost. Yeah, he's, you know, he feels like everything he worked for just fell to shit because he fought tooth and nail to get that title, to get the world title off of Brock. And now Brock's back with the title again. You know, he's got, you know, he lost the Universal title. It's stuck on SmackDown. You don't know where he's at. Hunter came out and said, you know, isn't it funny every time you, like, you don't know where exactly you're at, our paths wind up crossing. So, Seth, why don't you come on back down to NXT. And then he gives him an ultimatum. You're either with me or you're against me. And so Seth, after a big brouhaha and big brawl, then Seth winds up basically saying, I want Adam Cole tonight, I want your champ, and I want that title on the line. Which now leads us to this. And Seth, he was leading into the break. Fuck. Almost went the whole show without a botch. Probably did a few earlier, I just didn't notice. Either way, decent match, had a nice pace and flow, really good back and forth with it. I dug that too, you know. And God bless, that is the one thing I absolutely love about with a lot of the NXT matches, man. You get good back and forth. You don't just get one side dominant for like roughly a majority of the match and then the other guy getting the upper hand at the end. You know, with NXT style, it's very nice in that sense, in a way. Match came to an end when, just as Seth was getting ready to go and line up for the curb stomp, the Undisputed Era came out from under the ring, stopped Seth, and then proceeded to all do a beatdown on him, so the ref threw the match out, which then in turn brought out the Raw locker room to go and stop them, which then in turn brought out more NXT guys, all going at each other. And it ended with Ricochet doing a tope over the top rope to take out everyone, and then Keith Lee, that big bastard, going and saying, cute, watch us, doing the same thing. And I don't know about you guys, but as impressive as it is seeing Ricochet do his shit, seeing Keith Lee, a guy his size, he's 6'2" like me, but he's a good 300. He's a 300-pounder, so he's got at least a good 200-something pounds on me. A 300-fucking-pound man being able to fly around like that. That's just, that's where I pop and I go nuts, seeing shit that, you know, pretty much looks like it defies the laws of physics. So, yeah, that is it for this week's show, folks. So, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Make sure you look for me on my Twitter, Tim Vicious. Do also got another account if I get put. Also do got that, or there. Fuck! Sorry. Also on that Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you're going to look for me on my Facebook gimmick, let me know you found me on there from here on the Twitter at Tim Vicious something. Got Creep John going. Also, big thank you to contributor to the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. A little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of women wearing a little bit of nothing. Also, big thanks to the executive producer, Ali Rewind Band, who provided the music for this week's show. It's out there on iTunes. Make sure you check his music out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, and such. Details are down below. Also, you want one of these sweet Ali Rewind shirts, hit me up and I'll talk to the man for you. He is also out there on the Facebook gimmick, P.A. Enriquez. Also, folks, do not forget to follow these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. Axel Mulligan, Kenny Kira, DSB_IV, Diabolica RA, Sergeant Curry Pants, Dazzy MWP, and my homeboy Zeke, who always has to help make sure my heart don't explode anytime Asuka comes out. TSUNDERE_ZEE. And folks, I always tell you, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.